I'm not here to tell you that Wanted Dead is a bad game. No, calling this new yet unapologetically old school hack and slasher from the makers of Ninja Gaiden bad would be a disservice to a developer that accomplished exactly what it intended, creating a quote love letter to the 6th generation of consoles. In doing so, however, Wanted Dead inadvertently becomes a fascinating case study for the well-documented psychological phenomenon whereby the human brain is better at remembering the good times than it is the bad. Indeed, it's impossible to look back at any old list of Xbox or PS2 era games without a warm and involuntary smile of nostalgia. Man, remember those games? You whisper aloud.
No,
replies Wanted Dead.
you don't.
For what you aren't remembering, or rather what your brain has helped you forget, is that the 6th generation was notorious for its awful difficulty swings, impossible bosses, devastating checkpoints, stiff voice acting, janky visuals, and incomprehensible storylines. For sort of better but mostly worse, Wanted Dead is exactly all of this, and to prove it to you, let's put it under the mega microscope and see how it handles my 15-part scoring system. Wanted Dead opens with a stylized, if largely incoherent cinematic that intersperses clips of late 90s conflicts with the rise of fictional dour synthetics. An AI robotics company that has somehow taken over post-colonial Hong Kong and stuffed its police force full of former war criminals. Sounds great, right? Well, easy for you to say, you're one of them. Lieutenant Hannah Stone, head of the Zombie Squad, a shoot-first, torture-later quartet made up of yourself, the pervy sniper Herzog, the fittingly deaf demolitions expert Cortez, and the exhausted Dr. Doc.
Tomato soup and coffee. Make it Irish.
Together, you steadily kill your way through a disjointed mystery with dour synthetics at its core, and occasionally you'll endure your hot-headed captain's conflicted rants about simultaneously hating your guts and loving you like your family.
You're the closest thing I have to family. You dig?
Bitch! I love you!
All in all, it's not an uninteresting premise, but Wanted Dead's narrative sequence of events, aka plot, is so bizarrely paced, often jumping from grisly mass murders to low-stakes slice-of-life nights out on the town, that it all ends up feeling a little disorienting and maybe even intentionally comedic. The game's detached and/or deranged characters are all pretty funny after all, often cracking jokes or sharing their untethered worldviews to the even-keeled Stone's chagrin.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Herzog.
Too bad though that the voiceover is awful, often failing to line up with either the subtitles or lip sync.
Would you please stop munching in front of me?
But unfortunately, this is the least of Wanted Dead's worries. In hindsight, Wanted Dead's trailers did an exceptional job of showcasing a fast and fluid cover shooter to katana-wielding slasher combat system that I couldn't wait to get my hands on. Sadly, it sucks. Transitioning from shooting to slashing is remarkably clunky, but shooting is so underpowered to begin with and your guns blitz through ammo reserves so quickly that you may end up abandoning shooting entirely. That only your katana can replenish recently lost health a la Bloodborne makes this decision to go gunless even easier. However, I was surprised by just how few melee weapons and combos there were in Wanted Dead, as both Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive are nothing but weapons and combos, and these are the same devs. You are given a fairly robust gunsmith to play with admittedly, but again, guns in this game serve no real purpose. Meanwhile, Wanted Dead is decidedly old school in that you have to kill each enemy in each wave in order to advance. Thus, you're forced to slowly whittle through uninteresting trash mob after trash mob in order to reach the actually interesting if completely overpowered elite enemies scattered throughout each level, all of whom will promptly stunlock you into oblivion, sending you all the way back to the first trash mob you mowed down 10 minutes ago. Without the help of your worthless squad mates, might I add? This whole checkpoint bullshit officially killed any nostalgia I still had left for hard 6th generation games, and it combined with poor optimization and occasional crashes to earn Wanted Dead a filthy 1 for playability. Did I mention the game reset my control remappings every time I reloaded it? I ended up so despising the game's combat that I jumped at the opportunity to turn on the easier Neko-chan mode when the game finally offered it to me. But in doing so, I guess I clicked the always on option and I was never given the chance to turn it off in the menus, meaning Lieutenant Stone went the rest of the game with extra stim packs and cat ears.
Shit, they're aiming for the heli.
I don't know guys, seeing this blood-soaked cyber samurai turned cat queen just never failed to get a laugh out of me, probably because it perfectly encapsulated my insane experience with this game. Moving on, there's decent environmental variety on display in Wanted Dead, ranging from opulent gangster-run nightclubs to cyborg-infested city parks to your oppressively gray police station, but for its surprisingly colorful game room. Or should I say, crane room! Grains aside, Wanted Dead's world is anything but fun to explore, as most levels here just end up feeling like long, lifeless hallways punctuated by the occasional open room for, you guessed it, a boss fight. Wanted Dead throws a handful of big bads your way, and even with my cat ears of shame, I found them pretty challenging. So all I can say is God help the masochists out there who opt to fight these baddies on Japanese hard. Finally, a few words on style. Wanted Dead's visuals are okay. Some textures look solid, others dated, but the jumpy animations and missing frames get old pretty quick. Thankfully, they're largely redeemed by the game's 50 finishers? And occasionally awesome transitions to refreshing narrative anime sequences which go a long way to fleshing out Stone's tragic backstory. As for music, I don't have much to say about Wanted Dead's dark and industrial electro soundtrack, but my goodness does its sound design rank among the worst I have ever heard. The mix itself is an atrocity, as some sequences are almost inaudible and others ear-piercingly loud, and the ambient NPC dialogue is painfully repetitive.
Grenade! 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 Grenade!
Thankfully, Wanted Dead's publishers recognized how much work the game still needs and only priced it at the very reasonable oh my god, $60. Are you out of your minds? I got this game for free and feel violated. Whew. In the end, Wanted Dead is an unapologetic nostalgia bait that will probably only please people looking for exactly that. It's a love letter to those now decidedly outdated 6th generation games your brain graciously whitewashed long ago. I'm giving it an aggregate mega score of 2.14 out of 5, and I'm keeping the cat ears. Until next time, this is Scope, and thanks for watching.